Hello, everyone. Once again, it is November the 19th, 2021. I'm going to read Psalm 54. This is to the chief musician on Niganoth. I found out I was mispronouncing this word. Maskil? Maskil. Maskil. There's a couple places that pronounced it Maskil. And I'm like, ugh, Maskil? Really? Maskil. A psalm of David when the Ziphims came and said to Saul, "Doth not David hide himself with us?" Okay, that tells a story within itself. Yeah, Maskil. I had to actually look it up. I looked up Sela too. I had that one right. So that one was okay. But anyways, Psalm 54. Save me, O God, by thy name, and judge me by thy strength. Hear my prayer, O God. Give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers have risen up against me, and oppressors seek after my soul. They have not set God before them. Selah. Behold, God is mine helper. The Lord is with them that uphold my soul. He shall reward evil unto mine enemies. Cut them off in thy truth. I will freely sacrifice unto thee. I will praise thy name, O Lord, for it is good. For he hath delivered me out of all trouble, and mine eye hath seen his desire upon mine enemies. Amen. Um, 7 verses. That was very, very short. We get those, the really, really short ones, and then we turn around and it's like, the next one's like 2 pagers. Within itself, just save me, O God, by thy name, and judge me by thy strength. More than anything, Father, just save us. Hear our prayer, O God, give ear to the words of my mouth. And then, like I've been saying, for strangers are risen up against me, and oppressors seek after my soul. They have not set God before them. And if you've followed any other psalm that I have said, these people do it deceitfully. Do it deceitfully. They do it in spite. They do it without any form of mercy whatsoever. They will come and try to harm you as much as they can because you are not of them. You are something set apart, something different. Behold, God is mine helper. The Lord is with them that uphold my soul. Trying to find people in this world that are just like you. Sometimes it's hard to find. I have no I have no network here. I have nobody. It's kind of rough. Most of my friends that I did have, I I've tried to wake a lot of them up, and a lot of them laughed right in my face. A lot of them just straight dumped me, and it's so hard to know who to trust anymore. I wasn't a trusting person to begin with, and this, coming to this kind of truth, coming to this kind of revelation, has just separated me completely from this world. And there's some days I wonder if this is how I'm going to live out my life with no help at all. I don't know. Makes you wonder sometimes. He shall reward evil unto mine enemies, cut them off in thy truth. I will freely sacrifice unto thee. I will praise thy name, O Lord, for it is good. He shall reward evil unto me. Evil gets its reward in it. For he hath delivered me out of all trouble. Mine eye hath seen his desire upon mine enemy. It's it's been hard to hear a lot of people that have been losing faith over what's been happening. They don't directly come out and say it. There's a lot of people that are getting strengthened in their faith, and I think that's amazing. They are getting strengthened in finding the truth, finding the Father, getting strengthened in following his ways, following his commandments. But there are so many that I hear that are they will just say that they're just kind of losing this battle. And it's hard to hear that. It's hard to hear people say that they're losing the battle because of family. And not just, not just sons and daughters, but you know, other family. I just heard one today that, or no, it was yesterday, I think, that somebody was saying that they were kicked out of their family Thanksgiving because they chose not to take the shot. And I've heard that several other places too. I've heard people have been completely disowned because of it. I did hear today somebody said mother against daughter, father against son, which is in here as well. Christ actually said that he he did not come to bring people together. He came to create division. He wanted to bring people together. He wanted people to come back to faith, come back to love, come back to God, but they didn't want to hear. Was the line? You heard everything I said, but you didn't understand. I think it's what it was. It's the old faith no more line. I speak at one constant volume, one constant pitch, one constant rhythm, right into your ear. You still won't hear. That's rough, man. It it's just creating more and more division. Of course, that's supposed to come. That's supposed to come. People are going to fall away. People are going to be divided. Just simply because of the truth. Because some people just are unwilling to hear the truth. Or they hear the truth, but they just are unwilling to understand it. And for a long time, I never really understood what that meant. But when you consider brainwashing, when you consider MK Ultra brainwashing or manipulation of the mind, this this mind altering that has been done to people, you can understand. You can understand why people won't want to hear it. And that's really hard to explain to people. It's it's easier to lie to somebody than to convince them that they've been lied to. And that's the truth. that's, that's the absolute truth. It is, man, it's just so hard to get anybody to understand. And it just makes you feel bad. You just want to be able to just shake these people. Just say, no, this is crazy. This whole thing is just crazy. And they've admitted that they are manipulating people. They've said it for years that they almost constantly say the truth right in front of your face, and most people just won't listen. The perfect example, and this may wind up getting this video pulled off of YouTube. Perfect example is anytime they talk about any kind of adverse reactions, shots to the injection, anytime they talk about it, all these news reports, all these articles, all these news articles, all of this, they always say such and such passed away today because of a heart thing, yada, 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 just weeks after getting their injection. Or, 2 weeks after getting their injection, such and such died because of this and that. And it's like, if you read the article or you listen to the report, at the very, very end of it, they say, the doctors are still trying to find out how it happened, but they're trying to find out. They're looking into it. They're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But they always say after they get their injection, they die. But it's always at that very end is where they twist it out and they say that the doctors are still looking into how they died. They're telling it to your face. That's manipulation. It's a very, very subtle manipulation. Because the very last thing that you hear is the thing you leave with. And we've been programmed like that. Since the beginning of television, we've been programmed like that. Television and movies, it's that last beat, that last thing that you say is what you walk away with. That's how they use the news to manipulate you. They'll give you every single bit of truth and you'll miss it. Mostly because you've been programmed to not listen to the news. You've been programmed to think that the news is boring. You've been programmed to think that the news isn't something you need to care about. I remember being a kid and my grandfather, who had not been manipulated as much because they never really had a TV until the 70s. So, I mean, really watch a TV. I mean, I know they had one in the 60s, talk about the moon landing crap, but they never really watched it. My mom always told me that they never really watched it until, they actually got it. And then once they got it, my grandpa was hooked on it. But he was a kind that would constantly read the newspaper, constantly never got his news from television. Always got his news from a paper. And he told me, or he tried to teach me, that you need to keep up with current events so that you can know what's going on in the world. He always seemed to impart that on me, is to stay aware of what's happening. On that other token, though, or on the other side of that coin, everything in this world tells you otherwise. Oh, the news is boring. You don't need to read up on current events. You don't need to worry about what's happening on the other side of the world. Stop talking about politics. Politics only divides you. There's only division. You're only going to wind up arguing with whoever you're talking about if you talk about politics. Don't talk about politics or current events when you're at the Thanksgiving dinner. you know? They did that. That's how they did that. It's a very subtle manipulation. They kept us from talking to each other. They kept us from understanding. They made the news as boring as possible. They made sure that you understood it at 6 o'clock and at 10 o'clock at night. It used to be 11, by the way, but at 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock, they changed that too. They changed that to make sure that you saw the news. That was the last thing you took in before you went to sleep. Because at 11 o'clock, people were going to bed earlier and earlier, so they moved it up. And I always said, watch them. They're gonna make people work even more, and they'll probably move it to 9 o'clock. But they made you understand that at 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock, you go away. You go away. You do something else. Most people eat at 6 o'clock at night. Most people, not all people, but most people. So you're not watching the news. You're watching something else. Of course, now they don't have to worry about it because nobody watches TV anymore. Nobody watches the news. Everybody's on some kind of streaming service, so you're never getting the news. And if you are getting the news, you're getting the filtered news through a streaming service, which I find utterly bizarre. Hulu suggests ABC News to me. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch this. I don't, there was a time where the news was actually somewhat reasonably true, but that changed. You can call it the Smith-Mundt Act all you want. I think it's what it is, Smith-Mundt. I don't know. My wife knows more about it than I do. I told her about it, and she just went off on it. She read the whole thing. She understands it way more than I do because she used to be a journalist for a local paper, and she understood it, and she hates it. she despises she despises the fact that something like that exists, and I love her for that. So if you ever need to know about the Smith-Mundt Act, she's the one. She's on top of it. But you can call it that, or you can call it whatever the hell else they made uh, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, which gave them the ability to lie to us, to use propaganda against us. Most countries, they don't care. They'll just tell their people whatever they want to tell them because whatever. But there used to be some kind of a truth in America, in the United States. And it's just not there anymore. It's just not there. And people wonder why Americans are so dumb and so stupid. It's like, well, because we've let them move in this terrible education system, which teaches people nobody. We've let them manipulate us far worse than any other country by entertainment because, we have Hollywood. Um, we've we've let them lie to us. We've let them cheat us. We've let them tell us it was for our own good. And it has brought us to this point. And the American people are so scared. It's so crazy that they'll believe whatever the heck they hear. It didn't take much at all. It really didn't. All it took was, oh, hey, by the way, there's something that might kill you, and people just went nuts. Now there's a secondary problem on that, or a secondary what do you want to call it? Secondary caveat to that. It wasn't just the news saying, "Oh, hey, there's something out there in the world that might kill you. You should probably go hide." Um, the second part of that is when you don't have anything to live for, or no. When you don't have an understanding or don't have a God, or you don't have God, period. When you don't have the understanding that there is more to life than just being rich or being famous, when you don't have that basic social construct underneath you, is that even the right word? I don't know. Moral fabric. There you go. Hey, thank you. When you don't have that moral fabric underneath you, you will be scared of anything that might interrupt your life. And I was seeing it almost immediately. People were scared out of their minds because they were going to die. And all I wanted to say to them, I just wanted to stop them and just say, don't worry about this life. Worry about the next life. But these people, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't care. They just want what they have here because most of them have been taught that you only live once, that there's nothing else after this. You know, I've heard so many different people have said that so many different people have said that when you don't have that moral fabric, when you don't have something that you can believe in that will make you better, that you have nothing and you think that everything is just meaningless. That everything can be thrown away, everything can be tossed away. It's only about yourself, it's self righteousness. That you are, wow, Zoom just decided to put out an update on, on both my laptop and my computer. That's insane. at the same time. So it's just like they just released it at 5:18 a.m. Oh man. But if you don't have that moral fabric, you just think everything is disposable. You just think absolutely everything is disposable. You start losing that ability to be able to empathize with people. And it becomes all about saving yourself and not saving anybody else. I'm one of those guys that will watch those videos of people doing despicable things to other people so that I can see just how bad the world is, how bad people are. And I know I shouldn't. I know that it's, that kind of stuff is just terrible. Um, but I do. I watch it. Because I want to understand this. I really want to understand what's going on there. So I've seen people do terrible things to other people because they just have no moral character whatsoever. There's nothing there for them to latch onto. Uh, when I don't want to get into details, I don't because I've seen it. It's disgusting what people do. It really is disgusting what people will do. But that comes from not having any empathy whatsoever. That comes from not having any moral grounding in this world. That comes from just not understanding that this world isn't, it's not like that. It doesn't have to be like that. But when you have no God, when you have no understanding, you have self-righteousness. And self-righteous people will do anything and everything they can to make sure that they get one over on top of you. And it's sad. It's sad to watch. Sometimes it makes me sick. Other times I don't know. I don't know. It's like I said, I have to see it. I have to understand. I have to know where it's going. I have to understand what makes people do this. I think that was I think the Father had to show me that. And you know, I think the Father has made me have to pray for that. Pray for these people. It's just so messed up. But that comes back. It comes back around, and we've made the loop now. Comes back around to the manipulation of the world. About how we've been manipulated into thinking this, you know, and it's the entirety of the beast system. It's everything: television, movies, money, commercialization, organized religion. Any religion that tells you that you have to go to a specific place wearing a specific thing has never actually read the book. Or any any Christian religion that tells you this, that they never actually read the book. But that's another thing for another time. That's go. I could go on, and I could probably skip subjects 20 million times and find some way to bring it back around. Uh, I don't have anything other than that, guys. I really don't. I just we can we can talk about patents and blockchains and you know patents that help you mine cryptocurrency where you are part of the chains or bondage. I could go into all that, but was a video I saw yesterday, and this woman, man, she had it. She absolutely had it. Absolutely put it together. And it's all coming around. I cannot stress enough that we all need to be prepared for what's coming. Not just physically, not just for with food or water or anything like that, because there's a lot of people that are making a lot of money by getting you to buy a lot of food. We uh we have our stock. It's not a whole lot, but I am still under the impression that my God, my Father, Yahuwah, He will He will provide for us when that time comes. I am still under that impression. So we have enough. We have enough for others if they need it. But outside of that, my life is in His hands. Comes. So, but we not only physically do you have to be prepared, but mentally, spiritually, you need to be prepared for what's coming because the amounts of evil that could be laid upon this world, we haven't even remotely seen it yet. We've seen a lot, but we have not even remotely seen half of it. All right. Well, I'm going to get off of here. I am going to pray before I work because I need it. Definitely need it. Uh, I wish all of you the best. I love you all. I bless you all. Bless your families. I wish everyone luck in trying to turn the people that they need to turn. Try to tell the truth and hope that our loved ones will hear it. That's really all we can do at this point is just try to tell them. And if they don't want to hear it, then they just they can't hear it. I mean, no, but it is. Anyways, I love you all. God bless. I will talk to everyone whenever. It is a Friday, isn't it? Isn't it Friday? Yeah, 'cause we had tacos last night, Taco Thursday, so it is Friday. All right. So everyone, take care. God bless. I'll see you later.